Hello, and welcome. Whether you should be watching in the morning, the evening, or long after you should be asleep. A new year has arrived, and 2026 is already whispering promises of something different. This channel will be bringing you new videos more often, each one carefully crafted, because the best stories take time, and the darkest ones deserve quality. Tonight, I bring you real accounts that prove how quickly peace can turn to terror when you're alone in the wild. So dim the lights, settle in, and prepare yourself, because what you're about to hear makes camping far more frightening than you have ever imagined. Back in 2021, my husband and I were camping in Wyoming at the Boysen Reservoir. We got really lucky and were able to book a beachfront site directly leading to the water, but the downside was it was very, very far away from the other campsites. We were essentially isolated from everyone else. At the time, though, it sounded like a dream come true. The thing about Wyoming is that it's so desolate to the point where it's pitch black and eerily dead silent once the sun is gone. We set up our camp, enjoyed our fire, but shortly after that, a random SUV with blacked out windows came driving down our road and into our site. They drove toward us. My husband tried to wave them in case they were lost and needed help, but instead they ignored us and drove down to the beach, stayed there for 5 minutes, turned around and went back the way they came. We immediately got a bad vibe. My husband told me to throw everything in the car as he kept shining the flashlight toward the beach, because we had a feeling they dropped someone off to watch us. After we packed up, we got in the car and hauled ass. Lo and behold, the same car drove back into our campsite, and when they saw us leaving, they actually started chasing us. Mind you, the roads in Wyoming are bumpy and unkept when you're going in the wilderness. On top of that, enormous wildlife that wanders in and out of the streets. My husband said, "I have to go fast. Are you okay with that?" I said, "Just go, get us out of here." We were easily going 80 miles down these windy roads and even through a canyon. They were on our tail for about 10 minutes until we lost them after passing through the canyon. Most terrifying experience of our lives. We think about it to this day and wonder what could have happened if we didn't listen to our gut at that moment. I went on a camping double date in the Stanislaus Forest outside of Yosemite. I found the site on freecampsites.net, and it was at the bottom of this massive gorge that took about an hour to drive down. There were 2 campgrounds along the river at the bottom of the gorge. The first was right at the bottom, like as soon as you stopped descending, but it was full, so we drove another mile to the second one. That was totally empty. The site we chose was in between the dirt road and the river with a bunch of sagebrush type bushes separating the site from the river. We noticed a few odd things around the site. Namely, there was a large rat trap with rope tying it to the metal grate used for grilling on the fire pit. On the riverbank, someone's underwear, socks, shirt, and pants were laid out to dry on the log. We didn't really think much of it. At around 9 p.m., once the sun had set, we were sitting around the fire drinking some beer. My back was to the river, and I was facing the road. All my friends were on the opposite side of the fireplace facing me. I heard footsteps coming towards us from over my shoulder, the direction of the river. I said something like, "Do you guys hear that?" And as soon as I said that, the footsteps got louder. It sounded like someone was running towards us with boots on. Everyone jumped up and out of their seats. I was chopping firewood, so I had an axe in my hand, and I yelled something like, "What the fuck?" As soon as we jumped up, the footsteps stopped. We couldn't see anything, so we grabbed a flashlight and shined it in the direction of the footsteps, but didn't see anything. All was calm for maybe 10 minutes, while we decided what to do. Then, we heard some sticks breaking, like someone was adjusting their stance. We threw everything in the back of my van and hightailed it out of there. I've been camping my entire life, and I've heard animals walking around at night. This was not an animal. The footsteps were very clearly from a person. I was a stupid kid, 13, maybe 16, fascinated with hunting, but did not grow up from a family that ever hunted. I got my first BB gun and I went into the woods to see what I could possibly get. I remember coming to a part of the woods where it was a swamp and there used to be an old farmhouse, which when I was younger, like 2 or 3, used to be still standing, but at the time was nothing more than just a foundation/chimney. It was dusk out, everything was gray and shadows, and I heard huge wings and I saw a large bird land on top of a dead tree. I saw its body shape and thought it were some owl or something, which now looking back, I love them and how majestic they are and stupid and probably illegal to hunt. I don't know. I had a fascination with nature and a lack of knowledge of hunting. I was a stupid kid, so I shot anyways. As I saw the large bird drop, not quite sure what it actually was, it made a horrible screech while it fell down to the ground, and I instantly regretted what I did. No less than a second later, the whole woods started screeching and howling with the most terrible sound I have ever heard. I heard it in the trees around me, in almost all of the trees, this weird screeching, but more like whooping. Like 100 witches started howling and that whooping started coming from every direction around me. I ran home, which was about 1/4 of a mile from where I was, as quick as I could run. I only remember this now, and I have looked up every owl distress call I could find for in my area. I couldn't find anything similar to what I heard that night. Needless to say, I'm an avid outdoorsman, and I have the utmost respect for nature and the creatures that live in it, and I would never want to hunt anything unless it were to feed me and my family. But that night, which I oddly forgot about until now, was one of the most eerie things I have ever experienced in the woods.